So we'll get started. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at AI checkers now. Before we get started, though, I want to make sure everybody's here. Just you can do an emoji, thumbs up, or you can come off camera, but I just want to make sure everybody's back. Okay, thank you, Christiana. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Gina. Okay, it looks like the majority of us are back, so I'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen, and for this section, I do not have a presentation. Everything is going to be on the Padlet. And just to be certain that everybody still has the link, I will paste the link in the chat so that you can follow along. Let's see here. Everyone in meeting. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at some AI checkers. Now, what I mean by that is there are tools out there that you can put the text into the text box, and then you can check to see whether or not the text was written by AI, if it was written by AI plus human, or if it was written by AI. Now, I've tested out several of these apps, and all of the apps are listed here underneath this section. So AI checkers, who wrote this? And there's also a couple of articles that you can read that'll inform you on some ways of testing out whether or not something is written by AI or AI assisted. Ogechi actually gave us a great tip earlier. She was saying that she knows her students' writing samples. And so when her students began using AI, or if they began using AI, I'm not 100% sure, she could tell between what their previous writing samples look like versus what they were giving her after the fact. And I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that, Ogechi, but that is a great way to know whether or not something is AI generated, is just by comparing writing styles.
I just got back. Hi,
Okay.
Hi, Mom. Just got in and I was checking in with her. But yeah, it is really great to have samples as baselines that really help to like, wait, that vocabulary or that syntax doesn't really make a lot of sense. So the same tools apply.
Definitely, definitely. So I think that that's another great tip for people to think about is, again, having those writing samples. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use some of these AI checkers. And the way I'm going to do that is I already have them open. And yesterday, Hector had did an activity where he had the AI write a lesson on fossils. Right? And so we read that really cute little story that ChatGPT created. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually navigate to that story. I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to use some of the AI checkers that are on the Padlet. The first one that I'm going to use is called Writer. And it's an AI content detector. And so I'm going to clear what's in here right now. And remember, we know I copied it straight out of ChatGPT. So we know that this is a ChatGPT generated story. And it'll tell you here at the bottom that it's limited to 1,500 words. And so I had the AI rewrite the story in less than 1,500 words so that I can analyze it. So we'll click on Analyze Text. And it says it was 100% generated by human generated content, sorry. So we know that this AI checker is not that great, okay? I'm gonna test it with OpenAI's AI checker. And this one is called AI Text Classifier, And again, it was written by the same makers that wrote ChatGPT. And it'll give you examples, but I already have an example. So I'm just going to paste it in here. And then I'll scroll down to the bottom and click submit. And it says that the classifier considers the text to be very unlikely AI generated. So this one also thinks it was written by a person. So again, I guess this exercise, what I'm trying to show you is that these checkers aren't perfect either. Now, the best one that I have found, and the one that I would suggest you use, is the copy leaks. Okay, and so again, these are all on the Padlet. I'm going to put the text into this AI checker, and I'm going to click check, and then it sees that the AI is detected. So this one is really good. It has been very reliable. I'm going to actually grab some text from a newsletter that was written by IDRA staffers, and I'm going to put that into the copy leaks. So let me clear this and paste, and then I'm going to write check, and it says this is human text. So you can see the difference between what was written by by ChatGPT and then what was written by our staffers. But you can see that the copy leaks works really well. I'm going to put the same text from our IDRA staffers into the AI checker just to see what it comes up with. So let me clear this and click submit. And so this one's also saying that it was human written. But again, I don't trust these. I think that it's important because as your students are using, Christina had mentioned it earlier, your students are going to use ChatGPT. I mean, let's just get that out of the way. We know that they're going to use it. So they also might learn about these plagiarism checkers. And if they do, and they try to use a plagiarism checker, if they're using the wrong one, it's not going to help them. And so we want, well, I should say, I don't know about we. I'm a twin, so I always say we, whether or not there's multiple people talking. So, but yes, I feel that to avoid that I gotcha situation, we definitely want our students to be aware of all the tools that we have access to in our arsenal. So, let them know we have checkers that can see whether or not something is AI generated or not, and we are going to use them. And so just like the students may or may not use ChatGPT, I feel like they will. It's important that they have access to these checkers so that they will learn to use ChatGPT and other AI tools more responsibly. If they know that there's a checker, then they're going to put it in the checker to see how much they can get away with. And so what we want them to do is, you're going to use AI, but that AI that you're using, we want you to use it responsibly. We want you to use it as an idea generator. We don't want you to use it as a story creator that's going to that involves very little of your own creativity and very little of your own work. Again, it's just for idea creation and for brainstorming. And well, that's the way I see using ChatGPT with students. So what we're going to do is, you guys all have access to the Padlet. Oh, thank you, Gina. She said turnitin.com has an AI checker. That's really good. I'm going to add that to the Padlet. But what I want you to do is I want you to, if you have student examples of writing, I want you to test out these checkers to see how they work. And while you're doing that, we'll take 10 minutes. And while you're doing that, we're going to, I'm going to add the Turnitin checker from Gina's suggestion. So let me stop sharing. And again, what I want you guys to do is I want you to go into these checkers that you have on the Padlet and put in text just so that you can see how they work. If you have any questions, I'm going to be here. Let me know. We're not going to break out into rooms or anything like that. There's not that many of us. So if you want, like I said, just play with it for the next 10 minutes. And then at that point, we're going to wrap up. Does anybody have any questions right now before we break to play?
Would you recommend sharing with them the best AI checker, like Copy Leaks?
Yeah, I would, and mostly because they should know that they can't turn in something that is so heavily assisted by AI that they think they can get away with it. You know, I think it's definitely a tool that's going to help them understand that they need to use it as a jumping point, not something that's going to be doing the work for them. Now, you can always share one of the ones, if it makes you feel better, you can share one of the ones that's not that great, and then you can use Copy Links. I mean, I don't know, but, you know, I've always been the kind of person that believes in transparency. So I just kind of would want them to know, like, hey, I'm your teacher. I'm letting you know right now, I'm going to use this tool. If it comes back as AI generated, then you're going to get dinged on this. If it gets generated as AI half human, you're going to get dinged on this. You know, it's like, we want you to know how to use the AI prompts. We want you to be creative with AI. We want you to critically think with the AI, but we don't want AI to turn in your work. And so we've heard some stories that there are teachers out there that when it comes to writing, they let their students do whatever they're going to do, but when it comes into class, they want everything handwritten, and they want the work that's turned in handwritten. Now, I don't necessarily think that's a good idea, because how are you going to put it in an AI checker at that point? If they turn it in handwritten, that doesn't mean that they can't copy it off of ChatGPT in their own writing, right? So I mean, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, because I want my life to be easier, and I want to be able to copy and paste it into Copy Leaks.